What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So the 2025 draft is right around the goddamn corner. It is only 15 days away, 2 weeks. Next Friday is the 2025 NHL draft. So I am deciding today to go over the Athletics' final top 125 prospects. I did a video a couple days ago going over their latest mock draft, and you guys seem to really like it. So before I give my final top 50, I ain't doing a top 125. That's absolutely crazy. Before I do my top 50, which is probably going to be 3 or 4 days before the draft, I'm starting to do like my individual prospect breakdowns. We're going to dive into this, and I've said this multiple times. The Athletic, by far my favorite hockey site. You should be subscribed to them if you like to read really good, in-depth pieces, support journalism, but we're going to dive into this. They did this a couple of days ago, June 10th. Corey Pronman. They got Corey Pronman and Scott Wheeler are the two main guys there. Corey Pronman usually likes to take some gambles with his. He has some controversial lists, and I absolutely love that as someone that also does some controversial things when it comes to hockey lists. Up first, Matthew Schaefer. No shock here. Also, I love how Pronman has like the skill grades. I have my report cards over on my Instagram of like, I do letter grades, but he has this. I would probably bump up Schaefer in terms of the skating. I don't know what the next one is, whether I think it's like elite and then like high end is the highest one, but like nobody really gets that, especially in this kind of draft. But I would definitely have Schaefer in terms of skating. I think he is such a damn good skater. If you watch my in-depth breakdown that I put up over on TikTok, he's one of the best skating prospects we've seen of the 2020s, without a doubt. The rest of it is solid. It is above average in my opinion, but that skating is what really separates him. And as a result, he's the only guy in this tier one. And yeah, he says projects as a star number one defenseman. I think he should be a top 4 through 7 defenseman in his prime for my New York Islanders. I mocked him. He also has Jake Sanderson as his player mock. That's who I also had as well, which people said like, oh, the only Jake Sanderson. Jake Sanderson is going to be like a no doubt top 10 defenseman for like his entire prime. I think that he should be a little bit better than Jake Sanderson, but in terms of a comp play style wise, as well as talent, it's really not going to get more realistic than Sanderson. The other one that gets floated out is Miro Heiskanen a decent amount. I don't think he's quite defensively there like a Miro Heiskanen or going to reach the levels of Miro Heiskanen defensively. I think Jake Sanderson makes more sense as a great offensive defenseman that's also very, very capable defensively. Michael Misa second, not shocking anybody with the first two. Tyler Seguin, yeah, I've seen that one. The Cam Robinson's podcast had Tyler Seguin. I like that one a decent amount. Misa also basically has the exact same grades as Schaefer. Yeah, I think the one thing that I would separate them is just Schaefer is without a doubt a better skater. Misa really is just the guy that does everything at a very high level. Let's see. But competes well, dealing without the puck, projects as the number one center in the NHL. Yeah, the thing why I like Schaefer more is just because he has that one trait that, in my opinion, is truly elite and can separate him at the NHL level. Not saying Misa can't be a legit number one center, but in terms of becoming that true superstar, not sure he does. Yes, he had an amazing goal scoring season, but as he says, it's more of he's not some kind of amazing sniper. He just generates a lot of goals off timing and off the rush and getting to the net. Not sure those opportunities will quite be there at the NHL level to the level where he could be a Rocket Richard kind of winner. Porter Martone checks in at number 3. Again, the draft really starts at number 3 here in terms of the prospects. Yeah, the skating is scary, but when you are 6'3" and 210 pounds and as skilled as Porter Martone is, the skating doesn't have to be great. We look at guys in the NHL right now, Matthew Tkachuk, Jason Robertson, Mark Stone, like objectively kind of bad skaters and slow skaters, yet they're some of the best players in the entire NHL. Philip Forsberg as a player comp is something that I have not seen, but I can definitely see it. Yeah, Martone, I think is going to be very much boom or bust. Either the skating is going to hold him back so much where he'll only be like a second line power play specialist kind of guy, or he can legitimately be one of the best power forwards in the entire NHL. Yeah, he's one of the most fascinating prospects in this draft. Caleb Desnoyers, in my last updated rankings, I had Desnoyers as my number 3 prospect. I think the skating is potentially the one knock. Hockey sense, I would maybe move him up a little bit, and especially his two-way game is what I really like about Caleb Desnoyers. But yeah, he's kind of solidifying himself as a guy within that 3 to 7 range, especially after such a dominant QMJHL playoffs. And he's a little bit on the younger side for this draft with an April birthday. Oh, it drops off a tier and then goes to James Higgins. These are just top of the lineup instead of bubble high-end, bubble all-star level guys. Yeah, Higgins, the puck skills are nuts. The size, the compete, is not exactly there. He did weigh in at the combine. I think he weighed in at like 180. Oh, I just spoiled a bunch of the next ones. He did weigh in at like 186 pounds. So That was very encouraging. It depends. It depends. His play style is not something that I think teams are absolutely in love right now. The more so high end playmaker, softer guy. William Nylander as a player comp is interesting. I've always thought more so of a Logan Cooley. As the league continues to go more so towards size, it's going to be interesting to see if Higgins falls. As a result, Anton Frundell, another like peak boomer bust guy. If Frundell has a high end shot and Porter Martone has high end puck skills, how did Schaefer not have high end skating? Maybe I'm just defending my boy a little bit too much right now, but goddamn. Frundell compete being above average. When he's engaged, he's really engaged. It's just the consistency game over game. I do agree that the shot is high end, and I do like the Josh Norris comp a decent amount. But yeah, definitely interesting. 6'1", 200 pounds. Would not be shocking if he goes ahead of a guy like James Higgins because of that size. Jake O'Brien next up. Yeah, the shot's not quite there. I think he had like 25 goals or something like that in the OHL this season. Skating's okay. The hockey sense, from my opinion, is really there. And the IQ for Jake O'Brien is, I think, what really stands out with him. Not sure he has the high-end potential to be a true number one center. I don't think you can become a true number one center just purely off your high IQ. But also something people are going to like is that June 7th birthday. Victor Eklund up next. He is a dog. He is definitely a junkyard dog in terms of the compete. Brother of William Eklund. He's probably 8th or 9th for me. I think people are sleeping on him just because he's a little bit undersized, but he is not a guy that plays undersized. He's such a physical beast. Does have a very early birthday for this draft. Roger McQueen rounds out this tier. Yeah, if he can stay healthy, he can be a Quinton Byfield 2.0. I don't know if exactly that would be my comp. If Roger McQueen played out this full season, he easily could have been a top 6, top 5 pick. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen on him on draft night. And if that back is going to hold up, they're saying that it's just a one-time fracture, but they said the exact same thing about Caden Lindstrom being ready. Granted, Roger McQueen did return at the end of the season, but it's definitely a risk. Brady Martin at number 4. Is his compete level going to be the highest possible? Oh, I didn't give him like the truly whatever. I don't know what the next one would be for this, but yeah, Sam Bennett. He looks up to Sam Bennett, Matthew Nyes, and Tom Wilson. Was it? I do not have Brady Martin this high. I don't have him like outside of my top 20 or something like that. But in my opinion, the skills are not quite there offensively to warrant a top 10 pick if you're just going solely off compete. I like Kashawn Atchison a decent amount. I know that he doesn't have insane skills as well. But when you have 26 goals as a defenseman in the OHL, you're going to move me a decent amount. Kashawn Atchison is an absolute dog. Jackson Smith, 12th. Definitely has way higher upside than Kashawn Atchison, than Brady Martin. It's just, is he going to put it together? Yeah, he's like this year's Carter Yakimchuk. He makes some dumb decisions. Like his processing is not quite there yet. Not quite there at all. Cole Reshny at 13. Okay. A little bit of an undersized guy, but a lot of skill. I think he had 92 points in 62 games this year in the WHL. Now going to University of North Dakota, another guy departing. But yeah, the skating is a little bit concerned. If you're that small of a guy, you got to be a pretty damn good skater to make up for it. Braden Coots at 14. I don't know if I would have. I like Coots, but the upside isn't quite there, in my opinion, for Braden Coots. I think he's going to be like best case a low end second line center 2-way guy. I'd be surprised if he's anything more than that. Yeah, JT Compher at 14th overall. That kind of just shows how bad of a draft this is. That's the comps guys are getting. Jack Nesbitt all the way at 15th. Despite the skating, he's 6'4". So Prominent really likes his big dudes that are skilled. If Martone is still 3 despite the skating, Nesbitt having straight up poor, he's the only guy that we've seen have the poor stat thus far. That is quite shocking. Nesbitt 15. Murka, that's who we were missing thus far. Not high on Radim Murka. I'm not going to act like his skating, puck skills, or hockey sense are amazing by any stretch, but if you're going to have Nesbitt with like a poor rating on one thing and then Murka just completely off it, I think his puck skills are above average. I would definitely go with that. He's definitely going to be a decent amount of a project, but he was highly productive this year in the WHL. 6'6". To not have him in your top 15 is a little bit shocking, in my opinion. Carter Barrett, 17th, and Carbonneau at 18th. These are two guys that I'm going to probably have safely within my top 15, considering Carter Bear, the lacerated Achilles, isn't looking that bad. Justin Carbonneau, 18. Ravensburger all the way at 19. Okay, interesting. Not the best stats in the WHL this year, but 6'6", 6'5", so he's going to get a shit ton of looks. Cam Reed at 20th. Yeah, just a little bit undersized, but just does a lot of things good, if that makes sense. Sasha Boymedian, he's not taking the full Boymedian bait after an amazing U18s. Blake Fiddler all the way up at 22. Hockey sense, that does make sense. I don't think his skating's that bad, below average. He can move for a 6'4" guy. Lyndon Lakovic, yeah, if Lyndon Lakovic can really become more engaged and actually use his body, his 6'4" frame, and put on some weight to get to Porter Martone 215 or something like that, he could be an absolute monster, or it could just not work out when you have a shot like him. Malcolm Spence, maybe like the safest guy in the 18 through 25 range in this year's draft. He relies on the compete a lot. My guy, Milton Gashard, he will be very high in my rankings. I love him a lot. High end compete, two-way guy, 6 foot, 6'1". I think he's going to be a very good third line center, maybe a second line center. Hensler, 26th. Henry Brustevich, brother of Hunter Brustevich. I think I accidentally called him Hunter the other day. Will Horcroft. This is a riser, man. If this guy ends up going like 20th overall, I will not be shocked one bit. Again, Prodman, who gives a shit about the skating based on these? Poor skater, but if he can make that work at his size, at his skill, to get 10 points in 18 games for Michigan, it could work. Wozniak only measured in at 6'2". I thought he was like 6'4". Prokhorov is like the ultimate question mark in this year's draft. 6'5" Russian guy in the MHL. Had like okay numbers, but nothing really to write home about. But we saw Danil Boot in 2023 go, 12th overall after not exactly killing it in Russian juniors. Cullen Potter, don't show Grav this, despite his amazing skating. So yeah, Prodman just really likes his big dudes that might be a little bit slow, but are skilled. Because Cullen Potter is the ultimate skater, but decently undersized at 5'10". I'd have Potter a little bit higher. I'm not grabbing, have him 10th overall. But Mason West, this guy's one of the most interesting stories coming into this year's draft cycle. 6'6", plays quarterback for Adina in Minnesota, has D1 offers from MAC schools. If you're not from the United States, that's like Kent State, Miami of Ohio, and he's deciding to play but hockey. What am I saying? He's picking hockey soon. And as a result, like if he dedicates fully to hockey, he could be an absolute monster. But he's only been playing high school hockey at least last season. Could be another Anders Lee 2.0. Benjamin Kindle, 33, dude. He hates his small guys. I'd have Kindle like safely in that 17 to 24 range, just given that high end skill, what he did this year. Cameron Schmidt, 34. I think putting Cameron Schmidt a little bit lower makes more sense than a Kindle, 3-inch difference. And not as good production. He has Cameron Schmidt with elite skating. Goddamn. Makes sense. Shane. He's a big riser. It would not surprise me one bit if he goes top 25 as well. Ivan Kovic. I don't think he's going to go. I don't even think he's going to go in the top 2 rounds. At 5'11", dude. Small goaltenders don't get drafted that high. I think people are going to be shocked when he completely slides. Let's see any other notable names. McKinney at 39. Makes sense. Nilsson. Don't know how to read him. Bill Zonin. I think Bill Zonin will go in the first round. Bold take there. William Moore at 42. You thought this kid was like safely in the 8 to 10 range coming into this season and has just kind of slowed down. Or not slowed down, just never really took a massive step. This is the guy that was born in Beijing. I am rooting for this dude. I hope that he goes very high and turns into a stud. Jack Murtaugh. I'm way higher on Jack Murtaugh. I think that this guy could be something. I think he definitely has at least above average skating. Late birthday, August 22nd, that we always talk about. I think he has a high percentage chance to become a good NHLer. Kurbin Limitov, another Russian guy that's a total question mark, 6'3". Ivan Ryabkin all the way down at 48. He'll make the thumbnail. I forgot about Ivan Ryabkin. His compete is average. I'd have his compete to below average. Poor, arguably. This guy, it's really going to depend on can you turn his attitude around and make him actually give a shit, because the skill, definitely the puck skills, are most definitely there. Stoxelius. That's a guy that's been raising a little bit of late. Maxim Schaefer. The off-brand Matthew Schaefer. Maxim Schaefer. Any other guys of note? I'm trying to think. No. Charlie Trethewey. His first name's Charlton. That's awesome. I thought it was just Charlie or Charles. He had decent amount of hype coming into this season. 6'1" right-handed defenseman for the U.S. National Team Development Program. but did not exactly produce. Not that they were expecting him to produce to a big level, but after seeing EJ Emery not really pan out, after not really showing much offensively, I can see why teams are a little bit scared this time around. Ekberg all the way down at 81. I'd probably move him up a little bit. I feel like he's going to have someone buried deep, so I just got to go through this and want to see if there's anybody. There's 125. We're going through all. Mooney. Yeah, he's just a little bit too undersized. It's like Colin Potter, but minus another 3 inches for the most part. Radijovic used to be, I probably just botched that name bad, but he had a lot of hype coming into the season. Only 5'9" though. Ooh, did not really grow that much compared to last year. Anybody else of note? Just watch him throw some guy that's a stud last. Nope. That's it. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this ranking? I think it was a pretty fair ranking. A little bit low on Radim Merca. I personally wouldn't have Porter Martone number 3, but I'll be seeing the next one. My rankings are coming soon. My final mock draft, all that good stuff. Peace.